Hey everybody, welcome to today's stream. Hope everybody's doing good today. Hope everybody had a great holiday as well. So today we're going to turn a pen. We've been making hybrid blanks the last couple of episodes, and I thought I want to try one of these things out, see how they turn. So let's switch views here real quick. I'll show you which blank we got going. So we picked one of the ones with the teal in it. To be honest, I'm not sure all the colors that are in here. We made our own little maroon kind of color. There's a little bit of blue, I think, and some teal. Maybe silver, possibly. Yeah, it looks like silver too. And this is just a clear Buckeye Burl piece of wood. So if you guys want to see how these were made, if you missed those episodes, those are the last two live streams. And I'm just going to go with my favorite standby kit. This is the Junior George, and it's antique silver. And I love these because it's like a brushed silver and you can't get any fingerprints on it. They last, the plating lasts forever. This is the pen that I actually carry with me all the time, and it's, I don't know how many years old, but it still looks brand new. So you can get those at Turner's Warehouse. So I'll drop a link for you guys right here. There we go, if you want to pick up the kit. So that's what's happening today. The other cool thing is we're going to be doing a giveaway for a pack of pen blanks. Now, I thought that I was going to get, so we did, these are from the first round of hybrid blanks that we did, the first live stream. I thought that I was going to get a few more in this prize pack, but I was cutting some aluminum honeycomb blanks with my saw stop. And of course, I turned it off, turned it back on, and took one more cut and blew the brake. So these are still uncut, but they look fabulous. Look at these things. Actually, let me switch to the other view. So I don't know what they look like on the inside. Kind of a bummer, but man, look at these crazy swirls and things that are going on. That's just the top, obviously, but looking pretty good. Looking good. And then this one. And I kind of got, I got my thing to hold down the wood in there. I don't think it's actually affecting anything. I think it is just on the wood, but looking pretty good. We did a little bit of purple. And, oh, this was the one where we kind of made our own color too, with micro pearl and some dye. But it's looking pretty sweet, so I can't wait to get another break. The bummer is I could have sworn that I had an extra break, and I either can't find it or I don't have one. And I'm not going to be able to get one till like the 5th. I ordered one from Amazon. And it's not coming till the 5th, so I have no table saw, so that's fun. But I still, a lot of people always like argue like, oh, the saw stop is crazy and it's expensive. And I'm like, yeah, but if I ever do cut my finger off, that's a lot more expensive than a blade and a brake. So I just need to have brakes on hand. So I don't know if I showed you guys the blanks that are up for grabs. Pretty cool stuff. I got a little bit of a kind of a stuffy nose, sniffly, maybe like a little bit of a cold or something. I don't think I have COVID or anything, but so if my voice or if I'm snuffling around, that's what's going on. So I'm pretty excited about these blanks. Somebody's going to win this whole pack of 4. So let's get the stream bot going. Let's start. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the giveaway, and it's been a while since I did this. I think you have to enter, it'll tell you the instructions, I'll let people know, but I want to start it now, and then we'll just have it open until the end, and then we'll do the giveaway at the end. So I've started the giveaway. Hopefully everything will work the way that I want it to. This thing sometimes is a little bit buggy. Let's see here. Yak's here. So who is here first? Mike McEwen, nice. He's our newest moderator, so big thank you to Mike for helping out with moderating. I know we've had a few unsavory commenters in the comment section over the last month, so he's going to be helping out a little bit. Let's see, who else was here? So Eric was here right after, and Chris too. Cool. And then Dominic, Lawrence. Nice. Lawrence got some Pearl-Ex powder for Christmas, and the 16-ounce kit of ACC. Nice. Very nice. That'll be pretty fun. Yeah, actually, did anybody get any cool gifts or tools or anything like that that you can use in the shop that you're excited about? I actually don't, well, the only tool that I got was one of those, it's like a little credit card thing. It's like a multi-tool. Not really going to be helping me out in the shop, but you know, I got that. That was like the tool that I got. Nothing else for like, you know, fun kind of stuff in the shop though. See, just scrolling through. Small set of Alumilite clear slow, nice. Pressure pot is coming soon. Hopefully, it'll be cool. You didn't miss it, Kim. You're right on time. Same with Paul. You're here, no problem. I was a little bit late today too. Like I said, scrolling. Okay, so yeah, okay. So the enter to win. To enter, you just type in !raffle. There you go. You got a saw stop. Nice. They're awesome. It's the best, one of the best table saws, period. And you know, like there's, I don't know if you guys, if you've ever seen, there's like arguments. People get all heated about the saw stop. I don't really understand the argument. It's like arguing against seat belts personally. It's kind of how I think about it. But they're a really amazing saw. So like if it was like, you know, safe, but it sucked as a saw, then I wouldn't care. I wouldn't want one either. But it's one of the best saws on the market, you know, like all of them. So congratulations. Get an extra brake or two. I'm just going to tell you right now, because if you hit metal and forget to turn off the brake system, that's what happens. It goes thunk, and you're like, oh, it's kind of scary. But it's, you know, it's nice to have that. But metal. And also watch wet things. They can sometimes trigger, well, it'll trigger it. You know, and the next time that you're cutting hot dogs on your table saw, remember it'll trip it too. Let's see. Let me scroll up and see if anybody else. Stefan made a drawbar. Nice. That's a good project. Bought a vacuum chamber, resin dragon. Nice. That's cool. Very useful. Very useful. Let's see here. Who else? Did anybody else get anything? Earned your first pen before Christmas. Nice. Very cool. Very fun. Congratulations on your first pen. Oh yeah, on-site contractor saw. That's what I had before. I guess that's what I had before I got mine too. I had a Ryobi BT 3000 piece of junk. Terrible. Then I got the professional. It's like the middle one, not the super industrial one. But I mean, for the price, it's like comparable to like a Powermatic saw. So I always recommend it to people. I love mine, and I don't even have to tweak it or do anything. It's like set up and it's ready to rock. Been a nice one. Yeah, Mark's done it too. Yeah, I've done it a couple times on honeycomb stuff. It's just, that was like, you know. That was like a nightmare order. It just, nothing went right off the bat. You know, I did it once, I didn't like the color, then I had to do more and wasted these things, and then I blew a brake, and you know, just like some orders like that, you're doomed from the beginning. It wasn't worth, you know, it wasn't worth doing. Yeah, wet wood, nails, sometimes static can, some plastics, now not Alumilite or resins, I don't think, but certain like acrylics. If you're cutting really thick acrylic, sometimes I've heard that could. So just be kind of careful with it, you know. If you think it might blow, then, you know, just turn. You can. It's easy to turn it off. Just read the instructions, and then make sure that you understand that it's not going to turn off if your finger goes into it at that point. Let's see here. You bought extra, nice. Nice. That's. I thought I had one. That's what's maddening about it, you know. It's happened a couple times. I just, whatever. You know, it's cheaper than my deductible by many thousands. So, you know, a couple $100, whatever. But when you don't have a brake, and the other problem is it's been like blizzarding, storm, crazy snow, and I am not driving an hour to Reno through a blizzard to go get a brake for my saw stop, if they have them even. So, I don't know. I'll quit waffling here in a second here. Let's see here. Oh, the computer's kicking you out. That's no fun. Yeah, I don't know. Saw stops are amazing. It's brilliant technology. I don't know why, you know, people do argue that they don't like it for some reason. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. All right, so let's switch over to the other camera. I know that I was kind of messing around, but I wanted to, this is just kind of a chill stream today, so I'm not going to be all uptight or anything like that. I'm going to read you guys' comments, having some fun. Oh, Mike's making 3D prints. Actually, that is on my list. I was waiting for January 1st. I don't need any more write-offs this year, so I'm waiting till next year. And I'm going to be getting a resin 3D printer. I want to get into that stuff. I think it'll be really fun. So I got lots of plans for that. All right, so we are over on the Canon camera. There's the table saw, or table saw. There's the lathe. I got my table saw in my brain. So let's start out with the cap part. In the headstock, what I've got, I like doing the between center setup. That's just kind of my favorite thing. So all you got is a dead center. This is what's going to drive it. We got the turning between center, TBC bushings, actually from Brian over at tbcbushings.com. They are the best between center bushings. And then you got your live center on the other side. What am I doing? Lock the tailstock in. There we go. Okay. Don't need a lot of pressure. And I'm going to get make sure that my dust collection system is kind of set up. I've kind of figured out that if I leave a few of the other vents open, it's not as loud where I'm standing. So hopefully this will work a little bit better for everybody. And we'll be good to go. So the other thing I need to do before we start, actually, is I need to get a new cutter, I think, on this thing, because hopefully I have one. Yeah, there we go. It's been a long time, and there's like parts of it that are dead and parts of it that work, and I'm tired of messing with it, so I'm just going to get a new cutter out. So I'm going to be using the negative rate cutter. For something like this, you could pull out the regular cutter for the wood, but it could be a little bit chippy on the resin part. If you just want to not mess with it, the negative rate cutters will cut wood as well. I would say that the standard cutters, if you're just doing wood, I would recommend using those over a negative rake. They kind of slice the wood. They'll actually cut it a little bit better, whereas the negative rate cutters are better for things that are brittle. And so in some cases, certain woods, it is not a bad idea to use the negative rate cutter, but mainly they work best for resins, I think. But I usually don't really swap them out on hybrid things. Another like kind of another strategy that you could have is to like hog away, like especially if you're doing like a bowl or something like that, put on the regular cutter and hog away material, because they're going to cut, it's going to cut faster. Basically, it's going to hog off more material. They're a little bit more aggressive. So you can kind of get through a lot of the stuff, then switch over to a negative rake and you'll get a nice clean kind of edge or whatever, clean surface on it. All right, so let me get some glasses on. Uh-oh, did I get is that a super chat? I didn't see that. Will, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it, bud. I appreciate it. All right, so make sure to get entered into the giveaway. Type in for the pen blanks. Type in !raffle. I think it's still saying. Yeah, I think it's still doing letting you guys know. But there's 4 pen blank pack up for grabs for anybody that's going the wrong way. That just joined the fun. Okay. I'm gonna turn my dust collector on. Now I just turn up my lathe as fast as it'll go for pens and anything kind of small diameter like that. So you can see the negative rate cutter is cutting that just fine. Look at that thing cut. I love me a new cutter. It's the greatest. All right, so let's stop. Let's zoom in a little bit and see what we got going on here. Trying to get this centered a little bit more. Might have to smooth the camera a bit. Let me just see if, I don't know what I'm not sure what the picture looks like, but I got it pretty much rounded now. This thing's gonna look pretty cool. Had some pretty funky pieces of wood in there. So again, this is the cap part. And oh shoot, you know what I forgot to do? I was gonna show, I got everything prepped ahead of time, and I was gonna show you this trick. I don't think it's really gonna matter that much in this case, but I'm gonna turn the dust collector off because I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. So usually what I do on a two-piece pen is I have a mark that I you know, on the outside to kind of line up the grain or the pattern or whatever. And what I would do, now it's a little bit too late because I've already turned off the mark, but what I do is, this would usually be like a triangle across the both of them. What I do is I'll take my pen blanks, split them, you know, like fold them over basically, and then put a mark on the inside of the tube that lines up. That way I can come back and line it up when I'm putting the pen together. So I totally forgot to do that. I just kind of jumped in. In this case, I don't know that it's going to make much difference, you know, if it's really going to be noticeable. So I'll just have to be take my time and kind of look at how the swirls and everything are going. Hopefully I can get it kind of lined up, but that's how I usually do it, to make sure that it, you know, grain or whatever lines up. Just kind of stick a line on the inside of that tube and you should be good to go. All right, here we go. All right, it's looking pretty good. I like to come with the negative rake, the R2. Just kind of try and smooth it out. I find that I get kind of a nice smooth surface with the R2, especially on the resin parts. Although I gotta get my my tool rest. It's a little bit sticky, so I'm having a little bit of difficulty here. So I'm just gonna take a piece of 240 grit. You guys see what's going on? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna take a little 240 grit and just sand this down a little bit. I got some bumps and it's making it hard to smoothly you know, turn this thing. Like it's like hanging up in the middle. So we're going to remedy that. So I like to sand it up. And then what I do is put a little bit of paste wax on there. Make it nice and slippery. So this is Renaissance wax. It's really expensive. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but it's what I got handy. And it does work pretty well on stuff like this. I just wouldn't waste it for tool edges. I usually just use cheap paste wax, but this stuff dries nice and quick. Like, wipe it on and it's pretty much like 2 seconds and it's ready to be kind of buffed off. And just like that, we got a brand new tool rest. Very nice. Hey, Doug's here. What's up, man? Let's see here. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, it moved. Will needs a dust collection system. Yeah. Other than the, yeah, they really do help out, and you don't need some elaborate system. The only thing that I do recommend is, you know, whatever you get, make sure that it has good filtration, you know, on it. Because what I was using over here was terrible. So I was basically sucking dust into the thing, and then it's going into the filter bag, which is like letting the smallest particles right back out in my face. And it was like right next to the lathe. So don't do that. That's not a very smart way to go. Just get one that's got good, you know, a good filter on it, and that's all you need. You don't need like an overpowered system or anything like that. But I hope you get one set up soon, because they are really nice. You know, it's cut down a lot of mess. You know, dust in the air and stuff. In my shop with this new system. All right, try this again. Ah, that's nice. See, look at how smooth. So if you have trouble getting a smooth surface, you know, you might need to do a little tune-up on your tool rest there. I like to make mine a little bit kind of curved in. It's kind of rounded. So it looks like I need to take a little bit off on the ends there. I'm going to come back in with my round cutter. All right, I think we're good here. So let's stop. I'm gonna get you guys in a position right in front of this thing with the camera here. You got a good view of this sucker. Looking pretty good so far. So now it's just time to help. It's so bright on the camera, I don't know. See if we can, well, that wasn't. Okay, there we go. Pretty well centered. Let's see if we can add just a little bit of light. Good enough. We got lots of really awesome looking grain. This is again Buckeye Burl, and I didn't want to. This is a good one to dye, for dye stabilizing. But all I did was just stabilized it with cactus juice, clear cactus juice. Thought I'd let the wood do the talking without any color. So we got quite a few tool marks going on in here. So we're gonna have to start out probably at 180. Looking pretty good. I like the angles and all this stuff, the curves going on in here. I think it's gonna look good. Now, one thing I didn't do was paint the tube. Probably should have done that. Didn't think about it. I'm gonna scoot back. So we might see some brass in there. Just didn't, I even have powder coated tubes. I just didn't even think about it. Just kind of doing this quick the other day. Everything ready. All right, so let's do some sanding now. I'm going to slow it down to about 300 RPMs. You don't need to sand at a fast speed. In fact, if it's going too fast, the sandpaper can kind of bounce off of the blank. So you're actually it's gonna take longer to sand. It's not gonna be as effective. All right, so let's see here. Where are we at here? Somebody tagged me. There it is, Doug did, sweet. CA works great. Yeah. CA is pretty durable, actually. That's what I use for most things. Another decent one is Craft Coat. If you don't like CA, this stuff is like a urethane. Takes a little longer, but it's very durable and it's pretty easy to apply. There's UV finish, you could do that. I haven't had particularly awesome, it's just, my biggest thing is CA glue is so much faster than all these other things that I'd rather go with that personally. But I've also not had cracking or any of that stuff going on. One thing that I would recommend maybe is trying a different CA glue. Mercury adhesives, this stuff is made to be a finish, the thin flex. You could also use medium flex they have, if you like the thicker ones better, but I would try that out. That's a good one. All right, so 180 grit. I need to find a piece of 180 grit here. Here's one. You don't need pressure, you don't want to put a lot of pressure. Just enough to hold the paper up there, basically. Let the sandpaper do the work for you. And that really goes, it doesn't matter if it's resin or wood or what. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Blow that off. I'm gonna lightly hit it with a little bit of denatured alcohol on the resin part, just to kind of clean off what I'm doing. You don't want any grit particles left over. If there's any 180 grit particles sitting on there, even though I'm moving up to 240 grit, it's going to cause an issue, basically. It's going to be cutting at 180 grit. Just going to wipe that off. So next step, we're going up to the 240 grit. If I can find one. There's one. Phone up here so I can see the chat a little bit. What do pen manufacturers use? Well, like people that actually make and sell pens, that's what they use. The manufacturers probably use something more like a lacquer if it's being like in a factory. you know, or something. If like a machine is finishing it, they might use some sort of a industrial finish like that. Yeah, and if you don't want to put a top coat on, then that's a whole different story, you know. But if you want the protection of an actual top coat finish, then the best ones I know of, I mean, you could even use urethane, you know, like just a whatever top coat finish. But I mean, you could use, you know, like lacquer if you wanted. You could just spray finish it. But I find that to be kind of a tedious process, trying to figure out how to not get drips and stuff. You got to put on like a ton of coats. So that craft coat is probably the best alternative to CA that I know of. A fairly quick and easy one is you could do like the BLO shellac and what else is in there? Like the shine juice type stuff, or like a friction polish. That stuff isn't very protective at all though. But it is pretty fast and easy to put on. Glue boost, but that's just basically CA glue. I have heard good things about that, but I haven't tried it myself. It's pretty expensive. I don't know that for sure. If I remember correctly, I think it was kind of pretty expensive. I don't know. Does anybody use Glue Boost? You know how much it costs? All right, and then up to 400. And then I'm gonna put a CA finish on. You know, you could oil this or do whatever. You could even just polish this out, but the problem is the wood is gonna be a lot more dull than the resin. And that's not necessarily the worst thing ever, but if you want an even sheen across, if you don't want it to be like noticeably more dull on the wood part, then I recommend putting a top coat finish on. It's going to make everything shine really nicely. And you don't really have to mess with oil or anything like that on the wood. Now this is stabilized wood too. It will probably take up some oil, but it's not going to be like the same thing as, you know, just a wooden pen blank. And the finish is going to pop the green a little bit anyway, so don't really need to mess with that. Beeswax won't last long at all. Once you start touching it, the oils in your fingers are going to break that down. Magic Juice is a polish. That's not really going to, it's not a finish. You got to kind of differentiate between what we're talking about, what your goals are. I saw someone say that they don't put, you know, finish on resin. And I don't either. If it's just straight resin, no wood or anything else in there, I'm just going to polish it up because finish isn't necessary at all. You know, it may make it glossier, you know, possibly. But if you do a good job polishing it, then it shouldn't really make any difference. But for like hybrids and things like that, I always recommend like pine cone blanks, pretty much anything where there's some other material in there. I typically will put a CA finish on top if I'm going for the best thing that I can make, the best looking, you know, thing. I find that to be the most appealing. But yeah, there's all kinds of finishes. I mean, there's oils and pastes and all kinds of things. I don't know that I would waste the magic juice on a wood. You're still, like I said, no matter what you use, the wood is still going to be duller. There is no magic, you know, bullet that's going to make it more shiny. But a CA finish or some other hard top coat is going to cover it with a shiny thing, and that's going to make everything look nice and even. I don't think there's a best finish for any wood. I don't know who told you that oil is the best finish for poplar. They all kind of do different things, you know. It's not a bad finish for poplar. By the way, the Streamlabs is me. It's just like the little bot that deals with, sends like notifications and stuff. The ebook is $10. It's over on my website. And it's for resin casting. So I just finished up with a little bit of 500 grit. So this thing is nice and smooth. And that's what we're going for. So now it's just a matter of putting on a few coats of finish. I like, again, like I said, I like to use this Thin Flex from Mercury. And I'm not recommending that it's the best finish. It's a good one. I just like this one's properties the most out of all the ones that I've tried so far. If I have a nice smooth flat surface without a bunch of holes and pits and things that I need to fill, then is, you know, a nice smooth surface, then this Thin Flex, all it requires is maybe about 8 coats of Thin Flex and it's good to go. So here we go. Let's put some coats on. I just put like a dime or something like that amount. And I just get on, get off. I'm going to let this first coat kind of soak in, but then I just use the accelerator and CA finish goes super fast after that. Now, one question you might be asking is, am I gluing this to the bushings? And yes, somewhat I am. But again, if you don't glob on a ton of finish, then they just kind of pop off. I just tap it. But if you're going to be using like a medium and sloshing it all over and putting this huge thick thing on it, then I do not recommend using your bushings because you're going to glue it, you know, onto them. There are different setups for finishing that you can use. You could actually put some wax on these bushings. One thing that I want is finishing bushings. That would be pretty sweet. But just kind of be aware of that. So you can glue, so look at that. So even the CA glue really brings out some color in the wood. You don't need oil, you know. Just checking to see if that thing's dry. It's pretty dry. I'm gonna hit it with the accelerator just to ensure that I'm not adding any on top of still wet CA glue. Let's see here. It is, oh, it's a wipe-on finish. Huh. Yeah, mercury or nothing. I haven't tried it. I thought it was pretty much CA glue. It is called Glue Boost. Maybe I was just assuming from the name. Yeah, I did kind of look it up and I was like, dang, that's quite a bit. And like for me, like I got this process down. Like CA glue works quite well for me. So it's not really like I need to buy a more expensive finish. Not gonna do much. Trying to catch up to Pretty far behind on these comments. Oh, there we go. I think I'm caught up. All right, so we got 2 coats on. And again, the key for me is to just, you don't want to be sitting there forever. You just kind of 2 or 3, actually I kind of was lingering there. I usually just kind of swipe back and forth a couple times and then let it just sit there, and then I take my spray and I'm good. And that, you know, this method gets it on very evenly. So the biggest problem with CA glue finishes is it's hard to get it on smooth a lot of times, and so you end up sanding, you know, two-thirds of it off, you know, where you're globbing up a huge pile of it with the thicker ones, which in some cases that is necessary, but if you need to fill a bunch of stuff, then it may be necessary. But if the surface, like on this pen blank, if the surface is dead smooth, then you can totally get away with less coats. And I prefer the thin stuff myself. But everybody's got a different way of doing these CA finishes. What I recommend is just try some things out, see which one you like. You know, and I must have tried 10 different ways of doing this before I found this, or kind of settled on the way that I do it now. So if you're kind of struggling with it, don't feel bad. We all kind of did. It takes a little bit of practice, and sometimes like one method just works better than another. Yeah, there's lots of different pastes and things out there. I really do like the magic juice. That stuff is fabulous. If you're doing, and you can do it, I don't know if, I don't turn wood pens really, so I haven't tried it on that, but if you're doing CA finishes, or, which I'm going to use it today, but basically it works better, and it's my thing for pens. I still like buffing wheels for other things, but for pens, the magic juice is the way to go, I think. It's so much faster, and it's shinier. So it kind of checks all the boxes. The only thing I would say that is maybe a drawback is over the lifetime of it, you're gonna have to keep buying that stuff, replacing it. Now, I don't know how long it lasts. I'm sure pretty long, but it's gonna cost a little bit, whereas the buffing wheels, it's kind of a heavy expense up front, but they last forever, like for a long time. So I don't know which one's a better way to go, but for me, for pens, I'm going to be using the magic juice paste probably going forward. But for larger things, I still find buffing wheels to be kind of better, easier. Now, I would recommend, like, it's kind of cool in the shop, and this stuff doesn't seem to be curing as fast. Like, I'm kind of speeding through this a little bit, so make sure, that each coat is, that you put on is dry. I've been kind of, I don't know if it's been super dry, is what I'm saying. I don't know how many coats we're at this point, but I think we should be pretty good at this point. Probably somewhere 6 to 8 coats. And I'll inspect it, and if I think it needs more after I sand it, then I'm going to do that, you know. It's not a big deal. There's the 400 good. Here it is. What am I using? If that question was for me, who said that? Kenny? I'm just using a paper towel, Bounty paper towels, and I fold it over like 3 times. So we got 400 grit here. And what you're looking for is you need to make sure that there's no shiny spots. You need to get rid of all the, you know, all the ridges out of it. And I'm being fairly light with this 400. I just want to make sure that I'm getting, you know, this is like the rough sandpaper. All I'm doing is making sure that I get it smooth. It's going to be like, you know, little ridges and things from applying it. Now, the key to CA finishes is the smoother you can get it on, the easier this whole process is going to be, because you don't have to sand as much, you're not going to waste as much, you know, glue, and everything's just going to kind of go a little bit quicker and smoother, let's say. All right, so I think that might be good. Let me stop it and kind of inspect here. There's like a couple little shiny spots, but for the most part, there's not a bunch of ridges or anything like that going on. So I think we're going to move on. Blow that off, and we're going to move up to wet sanding. Now, let's see here. So I got to think, it's been a little while. I haven't used the magic juice a lot, so I kind of had a way of doing things before where I would get everything kind of ready and then buff both the blanks at the end. But I think I'm going to change things up a little bit, because I think I'm just going to finish the whole thing on each blank from now on, because it's easier to, one of the advantages to that magic juice paste stuff is you don't have to take it off the lathe and do all this stuff. You keep on going up, basically. So what I'm going to do first is show you how to, you know, these things are probably kind of glued on, you know. So what I'm going to do is show you how I deal with that. I'm going to crack them real quick, fix that. So I just use the little tailstock area here, and I just tap them. They usually come out. There's one. Now, the thing is, there's going to be like an edge of kind of crustiness. I don't know if you can even see it or if there is one, but there's some little jagged pieces hanging off because I just kind of popped it, you know, cracked it off. All right, now, sometimes, it's only happened like twice in my lifetime, but sometimes you could crack the finish on that, but usually it's not gonna, especially if you didn't put, you know, tons and tons of coats on. Now, like I said, there's going to be, I don't know if you can see if it shows up, there's going to be some little jagged edges. You have to get that off of there. Otherwise, you're going to definitely crack the finish when you put on, or you know, when you glue everything together. So what I do is I have this is the only reason that I have a pen mandrel. Put a little piece of, and all you got to do is use the little hole punch. Fits perfectly on a standard mandrel. But you got a kind of a 90 degree, so I just make sure that this thing is kind of running along the shaft here, and you got a 90-degree angle to clean up the end. And I just have some 240 grit paper. And that'll just make sure that when you glue this, or not glue it, when you press the parts together, that the part's not going to be smacking against hanging off, you know, material. Because if that happens, I've cracked a ton of pens, or, you know, like the finishes, until I realized what was happening. There's extra material that you're pressing against, it's going to crack your finish. So we'll flip-flop this guy going here. And I actually like to take a piece of 1000 grit. See if I have any here. Oh, I think I got rid of it. Oh no, there it is. So I'll take a piece of 1000 grit. I don't know if this is going to work so well. I think I might need a bigger piece. I need a bigger piece. Let me go get one real quick. Hold up. Find my 1000. Oh, that's well. All right. Now, what I do is there may be a kind of a sharp edge on there, so I'll just kind of take some 1000 grit paper, just kind of round over the edge. It's not going to be noticeable. You're using such a high grit that it's not like you're taking material off. But it'll just help ensure that you don't, crack your finish or do anything. And it'll kind of match up, a little bit better possibly to your components, giving that little bit of relief. All right, so that thing's done. Now, I'm going to make sure that there's no material kind of hanging off. What you can do is, if you want, you can just dunk these guys in acetone to clean them off. Do that afterwards, but we can reassemble this now. Just making sure that there's no chunks of glue, same reason, hanging off of this thing. They're going to crack my finish. Okay. Need them to hold the blank up there while I wet sand and polish. All right, so we're back in business. So we've already sanded, oh, I need to go get a cup of water. I've already sanded up to 400. So we're going to move on to the polishing papers, which are just a slightly different type of sandpaper, basically. But the Zona, Z-O-N-A, the brand that I use, it's the same thing as Micro Mesh. They all work fine. I prefer these Zona papers because they're thinner. Never really liked those big pads. And Micro Mesh is a little bit more expensive. So I just use these things. I'm back here. I had to get a cup of water. I like to put a little ShamWow down underneath. Put that there. Get my cup of water. And this thing looks actually pretty much new. So this is the Zona paper. It's paper thin, but it's basically the same exact thing as Micro Mesh. And it's we're starting at about a 750 grit. The green one. You can get these guys at Turner's Warehouse. I like to buy them on Amazon, actually. I just buy a pack of, I don't typically use all the colors. I usually just use green and gray. And so I'll just you can buy a pack of I want to say it's like 10 sheets and they come as an 8.5 by 11 sheet. And you'll get 10 of those in a pack, and you can just get the green or the gray. And I found those on Amazon. So I just buy those and cut them into little strips. Good to go. Again, don't need a lot of pressure or anything. Yeah, Stone's Paste is the same thing as Magic Juice, basically. I'm sure you could get away with stopping at 600, but I've gotten good results doing it this way, so I just keep doing it. In fact, actually, I talked to Mike over there at Magic Juice. He said the same thing. 600 will work, but going up a little higher than that, which I don't like sanding. Once I reach like 500 or so, or 4 to 500, I don't really like. Maybe 600 would be okay, but I really don't like dry sanding at that point. I prefer using, because the paper is so kind of tight knit, they clog up a lot easier. Even 400 kind of does a little bit. But whichever way you want to do it is the best. You know, whatever method you use that gets you good results, that's the one that works. That's the one you should do. I'm not saying anyone should do it like I do it, but this is how I do it. All right, so we got that done. A little bit of wet sanding. Like I said, you don't have to do that, but so far it's been a good way to go for me. I'm already set up to do it, so no problems there. And then go over to our pastes. And so you can get this stuff at Stadium Pen Blanks. They have it at Turner's Warehouse. It's made by Stadium Pen Blanks, though. And so it's six steps, and I was kind of worried. I'm like, 6 steps, good Lord. But they all go really, really fast, so it's easy. I'm going to cut these into even smaller little strips. I like to shake them up, make sure that everything's all good to go. You don't need a whole lot of this stuff. All right, step 1 done. Oh, I didn't shake it. I like to shake them. Yeah, I use Abernet too. It still can clog up though. A little bit. There's step 2. So it goes pretty fast. The first time I tried it, I was skeptical. I was like, okay, whatever. I get really good results with my buffing wheel. But I realized that, you know, you're going through 6 steps or whatever, but realistically, it probably takes less time than it would take me to kind of get the buffing wheel set up and mess around over there. So I was like, okay, can't really argue with this stuff. It works great. I'm sure the stone paste works fine. I've never tried it, but I don't think it's any different than this stuff. I think they're all kind of the same deal. All right, so there's number 3. I mean, it's already shiny too. Let me get you guys in here. I mean, I could stop right now and it'd be fine. Most people would be like, wow, that's a beautiful pen. You know. But we got like 2 more to go. I'm going to get you just a slightly different little angle. Zoom in. There we go. Quit wiggling, camera. Yeah, I mean, it's super glossy already. All right, so number 4. Oh, we zoomed way in. Okay. 2 more to go. Jamie Page. What's up, brother? Just finishing up half the pen here. One more step of this polish junk. We'll be good to go. Okay, last one. Number 6. And there we go. All right, so we got half a pen done. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Ooh, man, that is shiny. Might have burned through the CA a couple spots. That kind of sucks. I was kind of hurrying, like I was saying. I think there was a couple times where I didn't really get a very good coating on, but this is good enough. I can go back and fix this if I wanted to later. Still looking 95% amazing. All right, so I got to think about, let's see, okay, I had to figure out which way the bushings go on this. We're putting the cap on this side. All right. Let's see here. So what's Jamie up to, man? Wait a minute, did I miss? What's going on here? Jamie and Stefan, thanks for the super chats, guys. I appreciate it. Let's see here. So let me see what Jamie's up to. What have you been doing, man? You've been making videos like crazy. You guys haven't. Jamie's putting a video up every day in December. If you guys don't know, you gotta make sure you get over there, check out those videos. Where's let me get a, let's see. Jamie is a moderator, but I'm gonna go out and get a link to your channel myself because I can. I wish they would let us just click on people's names. Get to their channels. It was so much easier. Oh. Huh. All right, here we go. Give me a minute there. Give me a minute, but I found it. One a day. I don't know how you can do that. I can't even get one a month. Next year, I'm planning to get more videos going. There it is. So make sure to go and subscribe to Jamie's channel so you don't miss any of his awesome videos. He does all kinds of wood turning and fun projects over there. Lots of some scroll sawing. He's a master scroller. All right, here we go. Let's start number 2. So like I was saying about these bushings, so you got, you might get some CA glue the way that I do that on the bushings. So what I do is I just have a little jar. I don't know how much acetone's in it, but oh, it's okay. So I had this jar, found it. It's not rosemary anymore, but it's got acetone in there. So I just drop them in there, let them soak for like 15 minutes probably is all you need, and then just wipe them off. After, pull them out, wipe them off, and they're good to go again. Starting resin casting. Oh man, watch out. Jamie's doing resin. Well, it's about time. That's all I got to say. About time. Okay, so let's turn on the dust collector again. Pull out the tools. And I'm going to move the camera over a little bit so I'm not bumping it or anything. So you can kind of see what's going on from there. All right, here we go. Fired up. And it's been a while since I turned a hybrid pen. I'll tell you that right now. I'm pretty excited to get this thing done. I think I might actually keep this in my own collection. Yeah, CA glue definitely dissolves in plastic, or in acetone. That is the only, CA glue is a great finish, very durable, but that is the one, downfall. If if for some reason you got acetone on your pen, it will not, the finish will kind of dissolve on it. But other than that, I mean, it's super durable stuff. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that CA glue will also kind of keep the yellowing or anything like that at bay. I don't think that it I don't think it's affected by UV light. Like, I think it'll protect against, you know, UV stuff. I may be wrong about that, so don't quote me on it, but I've never seen any of my pens turn yellow or do any weird stuff or have CA finishes on them. Ooh, that's looking good. All right, so I'm gonna come in with my, I like to go with the R2. All right, let's stop it, see what we're looking at here. Get you guys in front. Oh man, it's been a long time. The other thing is, it's been a long time since I just used like kind of a natural looking wood. Like usually they have like color in them and all that. I really like all the cool stuff that's going on in this Burl. Alright, so it looks like we're pretty good on the end there. We need to take off some on the other end. A little bit of material kind of hanging off the end there. Ow. Pinched my finger. Daryl with the 5. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, Jamie's asking if I was using the negatives. Yep. I typically do. I mean, I use the regular ones on wood. If I'm just turning a piece of wood, I would pull those out all day. But if it's a mix, these things handle, especially with stabilized wood, they can handle stabilized wood pretty well. Not the best. The regular cutters still work better on wood. But I'd rather just have the super smooth, you know, negative rake on the resin part. I wasn't digging the shaping that I did on that. I'm going to take down some of this extra in the middle there. That ought to be good. Let's do a little bit of smoothing. And you don't need to do all this with the R2 cutter and all that. I just find that it kind of helps me get some of those tool marks out that I left from the round one. And then it kind of gets me through sanding a little bit quicker. All right, so I think we're good now. Let's roll it back down to about 300. Let's see here, what am I missing? Turning something like this, if you wanted it straight in line or square across. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Oh, like the tool rest maybe? Is that what you're kind of saying? What I do is I actually will look over and kind of line it up on the other bedway behind there. You know, and that'll give you a pretty straight edge. I don't know if that, I'm not sure if that's what you were asking or not though. All right, so where are we at here? Let's, got another piece of 180 here. Probably don't even need the 180. But it'll make quick work of any tool marks that I have. Then we can move on to the 240. The blank. Let's see here. So let me read that again. When turning something like this, if you want it straight in line. Oh, so like just a straight thing. Well, you want to use. Best way to go, I intentionally put camber or whatever, like curve on most of my things, but you just use your fingers to you know, get it straight. And so that's kind of what I was going with, is I'm going to line up my tool rest, make sure it's, you know, parallel to the blank, and then just use your finger on the fence as a depth stop, and don't move it in and out. You know, grab it and hold it in that, you know, whatever distance. That's how the best way that I know of to get everything pretty flat. Maybe that answered your question. I'm not sure. I just, like I said, I prefer, I don't like flat pens. I like them to have angle to them. It's just a personal preference. I think they look better. Okay, I think we're good. So I do have some little things to fill here. So I'm not even gonna move on yet. I'm gonna do that with some CA glue. I like to use thick. I usually just use this thick stuff. Medium can work pretty well, but so far I've gotten pretty good results with the thick. So what I'm actually gonna do is put a glove on. Nitrile glove, and I don't know, I just want to make sure you guys can kind of see what's going on here. So there's like a kind of a little bit of a crack going on, or it's not a crack, I don't know what you want to call that, but there's some stuff going on. This isn't totally dead flat like the other one was. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take some of that thick CA glue. I think for now I'm going to turn this dust collector off, because I don't want to listen to it anymore. This will take a little bit of time, but basically I want to kind of fill this. I'm just going to, like I said, take my thick. I'm going to put it on here, and we're going to end up sanding all this off except for what's going in the cracks, so it's not like I'm putting the finish on. So we've only done sanding up to 180 right now, you know. Then what I'm going to do is, using my gloves, just kind of finger this in a little bit. We want this, again, the game plan, the game is all about getting the surface as flat as humanly possible. All right, and then I'm just going to hit it with the, I got stuff all over my finger here, so hold on. I don't know that I can spray my accelerator left-handed. That's going to be disastrous. Okay, so we kind of globbed a little bit on there. I'm going to let that kind of think about what it's done. It's still sticky, so I don't know what the deal is. This stuff is not seeming to cure anything lately. It's weird. Yeah, you can do like a thin or whatever. I usually do actually, but at the same time I'm kind of, I don't know. It depends on how, this is just like one long crack. Like on a pine cone blank, like those things have tons of little pits. And so I do kind of like to fill things like that with thin. And so if you need to penetrate, you know, in on stuff, then this is what I use, is Starbond Super Fast Thin. This stuff is amazing. You can actually use this to kind of stabilize, you know, soft parts of wood and stuff, because it just soaks, it's so thin that it just soaks in. But I kind of like the thick, Starbond's thick for doing, so like I kind of use two different ones. I don't prefer Starbond's, you know, stuff for finishing, because again, it's really just it has to do with the time and the thickness and all that kind of stuff. It's just not my favorite. But for doing these types of tasks, the Starbond stuff works kind of really, really good for that. All right, so I'm just going to kind of take off the kind of the biggest chunks there, and then go back to that 180 grit paper. We've almost got it filled. Just a little bit more on the surface that we need to take off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it some more. That paper looks kind of hosed. Just to make sure, sometimes you can have a little bit of uncured stuff underneath the surface. So I'm just hitting it with that accelerator just to make sure everything's good to go. Come back here with some more 180. I'm gonna see if I can just sand out down and get that stuff smooth with the sandpaper a little bit more. Kind of taking the surface down so that hopefully it'll kind of even out. I'm probably gonna have to add a little bit more, like one more coat of kind of filler into those. I think it'll just be the fastest way to go. It takes forever to use just the thin flex stuff, the finish that I use to fill holes. So I'm putting on a lot of thin coats. All right, so I've sanded the heck out of that. Let's see what this looks like now. Blow it out. It's actually pretty good. I have a low spot, a shiny spot there. A little bit of a shiny spot there. I think that'll probably just come out. And these things, a few little pits. So I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna give it one more treatment. Definitely over here. Oh, how close am I? There we go. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. Let's see how we did there. Yeah, this blank isn't too bad, huh? Thanks, Eric. I was really happy with how these things turned out. You know, the funny thing is that the Buckeye Burl, you can see that there's a lot of stuff going on in these things, right? Like a lot of colors and stuff. And to be honest, I got these, they were like cookies. So like just like round kind of slabs of Burl. And they were just so funky. Like I didn't really know what to use them for. And I finally was like, you know what? These are going to make some decent pens, I think. So finally just cut them up and did it. Made some pen blanks and they look pretty good. Pretty good over there. I think this is pretty good right here. Might be a little bit low. I have a little bit of a low spot right there. I don't know. We'll sand a little bit more. All right, I think we've sanded this thing to death. Let's blow it off and see if we have too many shiny low spots there. Let me take these things off. No, it's looking good. I think we're pretty flat now. So we can move up to 240 grit now. So let's do that. Oh, yeah, not too bad. You guys picked really good colors on the resin too. It goes really well with the wood, you know. So don't forget, guys, I know the Streamlabs deal is saying enter to win a 4-pack. It's 4-pack of these types of blanks. I mean, not exactly the same, but there's a teal one. What all are there? There's a teal one, and then so one that's going to be very, very similar to this. Teal one, and then we got a few with the other color combo. Oh, actually, that one's just a resin blank. And then we got one that's like a half and half. That's pretty sweet. And then we got one that has some dyed Buckeye, the orange. So that's up for grabs. That's the 4-pack. And so to enter, just type in the chat box, !raffle, RAFFLE. You'll get entered. Oh, I gotta wipe this thing off. Hold on a minute. I like to wipe down with a little bit of denatured alcohol in between, mainly for the resin, but it's also going to get it off of get any sanding dust or little particles. It'll get it off the wood too, you know. Okay. Connie's here, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Well, I do, so Buckeye Burl it really takes color well. So typically I'm going to color it just because it's basically just thirsty, you know, asking for color. So it works really so well for dye stabilizing that's typically what I do. But this was, I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with just, you know, just stabilizing it, because it is a very kind of like light, sometimes can be like punky wood that I would recommend stabilizing it either way. But you can add color if you want. It takes it extremely well, but it obviously looks amazing without any, don't need color. I guess I don't need to be wearing these gloves anymore. Okay, let's wipe it down. The denatured alcohol again. And then we're on to 400 grit. I think I need a new one of those. The one I was using was kind of on its last legs anyway. That one actually might work. So let's do a test. Let's go to 600 grit dry and then just go with magic juice and see what happens. See if we can skip all that wet sanding nonsense. What do you guys think? Once we get it to 600, I'll stop and give you guys kind of a peek at it, a little better view of the blank from kind of like my view, sideways. You've been here the whole time, you were just hiding. Well, welcome to the chat then, how about that? Glad you could join us tonight. All right, I'm thinking that's probably pretty good with the 400. Let's wipe it off a little bit here. Some denatured alcohol. Oh, I guess, let's see here. So I don't need to go to, okay, so we're doing, sorry guys, I had to think about this. So we're gonna put a CA finish on first. So we don't need to go to 600 right here for this stuff. It'll be for when we do the CA finish after that, when we're polishing that up. Yeah, you can go either way with, you know, with that stuff. Things that I wouldn't recommend dyeing or anything like that are like, I wouldn't mess around with trying to stabilize or dye stabilize like the Aussie burls and stuff like that. It's just super dense hardwoods like that, like the super dense ones. They don't take any color. They don't take any cactus juice. It's not very useful. You know, it's a waste of time, I would say. That stuff, just dry out, cast it, and you're done. But Buckeye Burl's a really good one. Maple Burl, Box Elder is pretty good. Black Ash Burl. Those are all really good at taking color, you know. So, either way. But, you know, if you got some good figure and all that stuff in it, man, I mean, obviously you don't need to color it. That one's looking pretty good. I'm digging it. All right, so let's get this thing going over here. So we're gonna put a CA finish on this guy now. Then we're gonna go back to the Mercury Thin Flex. That's kind of my go-to for finishes. This time I think I'm gonna put a few more coats on. I think that I don't think I put enough on. I kind of lost track of how many coats I had put on, and it's kind of rushing it. And I'm also going to take a little bit more time in between, because I think what was happening also was it wasn't getting fully like cured, and I think I was wiping off a lot of it. So we're going to kind of go a little bit slower, even though I don't like going slow. This stuff usually cures a little bit faster in the summer. It's taking a little bit longer. The cooler temps. You can kind of like count in between if you want, or kind of walk away. I'm going to turn off the dust collector. Nice. I wonder how many people have entered the... Let's take a look and see how many people are in the contest, in the giveaway. I'm just curious while we're waiting. Like, I see. Ooh, 45. Nice. Way to go. Way to go. All right, so that's nice and dry. I'm just going to do go a little slower this time. Make sure that we get a good amount. And like I said, I think I might have kind of sanded through a little bit on that other one. That's not good. We don't like that. All right, so we got a few new people in. So earlier on, I asked if anybody got any cool stuff for Christmas, for whatever you're celebrating. Did you get any good stuff for the shop that you're excited to use? You know, for like next year. I unfortunately did not really get any like tools or, you know, fun stuff for the shop. The problem is people don't buy me things for the shop because I write it off. So I don't get a lot of like gifts anymore. But I am looking forward to getting a resin 3D printer. I'm going to be playing with that. Hopefully that'll go how I hope it will. Yeah, I would recommend, Lawrence, I would recommend looking online. Um, I don't buy, we don't have anything around us. So I just get it. And actually a lot of my sources, I don't know if they're, I don't know if they're selling wood anymore. But there's lots of places. Well, there's Worldwide Burl. That's one I know of offhand. I haven't ordered from them myself, but I know people who have. I think Jake gets stuff from them. There is Ethan Cook is who I used to get it from, and he stopped selling Burl for a while, but then I think he might be doing it again, and I actually need to order some too. But there's Facebook groups like dedicated to this where you can find people are selling Burl basically. There's also eBay, you can find stuff. Some of the wood or like lumber yards will have it. Typically I find that stuff is more expensive if you're buying it from like a lumber mill or a lumber yard. They usually kind of charge premiums compared to some of the, like people online. Cook Woods, COOK Woods. They are a lumber dealer. They have an excellent selection that you can search on their website if you wanted to do that. But again, that one's definitely going to be more expensive than just ordering it from someone else online. Anybody else have any Burl suggestions? Wood sources? Nina with the 5. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about the resin 3D. I was talking to so Chad Schimmel has some of the Elegoo Mars. It's kind of like the smaller ones, and he said they work really good for casting stuff. Got 2 molds, some resin. Oh yeah, the pressure pot. Ooh, 20 pen blanks, nice. Sweet. Yeah, not a lot of trees in the desert. Yeah, there's some stuff to cast or whatever, but it's not like there's like, a lot of wood around us. Actually, on the other side of the mountain, there are in California, Northern California. There's wood over there, but nothing that I'd actually want to drive to around like locally. A lot of pine here. Roger Rogers. Oh, nice. Burl Hunter. He's up in Oregon also. Again, I haven't purchased anything from him, but I do know that he's good. I know lots of people that do buy stuff from him. Oh, you got a Powermatic lathe. Nice. Oh, well, that's a nice upgrade. Oh, you got lots of... Eric's got all the people. Nice. Yeah, so like I said, Cookwoods, I mean, they got some pretty good stuff, but man, it's like way more expensive than online. So follow that. Thanks for putting that link up, but just be aware that that's going to be kind of expensive. They have like good pictures and all that kind of stuff though, and that's kind of I've bought from them. I think Cookwoods, they might be, I forget where they are. They might be in Oregon also. I don't know. Thanks, Nina. Yeah, you too. I hope everybody has a safe and happy New Year. I don't think we're going to do a whole lot this year for like the actual New Year's celebration stuff. One year, so I snowboard. I really enjoy snowboarding. And so one of the ski resorts up here is called Kirkwood. And they have a thing where I need to learn more details, but either they have night skiing where you actually are part of this, or maybe you just watch it. I don't know, but where you have like glow sticks and everybody's, I don't know, people that are doing it. I don't know if everybody can do it or not, but are kind of up on the mountain. So it'd be fun to do that one year. Typically, I don't really like dealing with crowds and stuff, but it'd be worth it to do that one year. All right, I think I've put enough CA on now. We should be good. I'm gonna hit this with our accelerator. We'll wait a little bit. Like I said, I want to make sure that this gets on good. Oregon burls? No, I've never heard of that. I know Burl Hunter. I know that. He's up in Oregon. And then Cookwoods, I swear they're in Oregon. I think we were going to go there on the way. We went up to the Portland AAW symposium. I think it was Cookwoods that we were going to stop at. I'm looking them up. Yeah, Southern Oregon, Crater Lake National Park. They're up in Oregon. I don't know about Oregon burls. Never heard of that one. There's tons though. Yeah, they're all over the place. Oh, that's the Burl Hunter. Okay. Nitrocellulose, I want to say, is like a lacquer type thing. What spray am I applying? So it's just a CA glue accelerator. Put it down here. Made by Mercury. This stuff, and that's another thing. There's different types of accelerators. You know, like every brand kind of has their own. And that's another thing is you got to kind of watch it with that. Like stick fast, that stuff is pretty aggressive. Typically, like it's gonna really make it, you know, accelerate a lot more than other ones. And so the Mercury one is pretty. It doesn't make it react. Like I've actually had the stick fast brand. I've had it foam up on me because it's like happening so fast. It's so aggressive of an accelerator. So just kind of be aware of that. Be careful. Mercury, like I said, I like that stuff. It's not going to over accelerate your CA finish, and it works the same with any brand. Yeah, it just instantly makes your super glues, CA glues, it makes them it accelerates the cure or starts the cure quicker. So there's no sense in me standing around waiting for this stuff to start curing. If you are trying to make the CA glue, like if you're using the super fast thin and you're trying to like have it penetrate into the pores of the wood or whatever, in that case you wouldn't want to accelerate it, right? That kind of defeats the purpose. You want it to kind of have as much open time as possible to soak in. But if all you're doing is gluing something together, or putting a coat of finish on, then there's no need to stand around and wait for it to fully cure on its own. You can give it a little help. Another cool use of that accelerator stuff is if you're gluing two pieces together. If you're super gluing something together, basically. Let's say that you had, I don't know, I'm just going to you probably wouldn't glue these together, but let's say that you wanted to glue these two pieces together. One thing that's cool is you can spray the accelerator on one piece, put your glue on the other, and then stick them together, and it'll instantly lock it down. Now you need to make sure that you got everything lined up the way you want doing that, because it's going to be instant, but it's kind of nice. Accelerator's a cool thing to have in your arsenal, not just for pen finishes, for all kinds of different stuff. All right, so we still got some shiny spots going on here and there. I'm gonna keep going just a little bit more. Take off a little bit more of this. Get it nice and smooth. If you don't have, if you got a bunch of, if you leave all the ridges and all that stuff in, it's not going to look very good. No matter how much you polish it, it's going to be dull looking and bumpy looking. All right, so that's looking good. So now again, I'm going to back the camera up just a little bit, show you my little, you know, because I've applied a bunch of glue on there, right? And so effectively, I kind of glued it to my whatever these things, bushing things. So I just give it a little tap on my tailstock and they pop right out. But again, if you're globbing on a ton of CA glue, you might want to do it a little bit differently, because you're probably going to it's going to glue it to the point where you're going to need to cut it off of there, and that is not going to be fun. So we did that. Then I got my little. There's probably some little pieces of CA that are kind of overhanging. So I use. This is what the only thing I use a pen mandrel for is to clean up the ends after I CA glue. But it works. It's perfect. You just take a hole punch. I got a piece of little 240 grit here. And then I look at it and just make sure that I've gotten everything, you know, evenly on that end. Works like a charm though. Okay, and then to finish that all off, then I come back with a piece of 1000 grit and just kind of round over the ends. And this isn't necessary, you know, but it just makes it so it's not like kind of a sharp edge. At least for my theory, in my mind. That's why I do this, is just to kind of not have a sharp edge, not have something where you could maybe catch that CA finish on something and peel it back. Probably won't happen, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather not have it happen once to me, because that doesn't sound very fun. But what is crucial is if you do what I just did with, you know, knock them off the thing and all that, it is crucial to clear off the end, you know, with something like this. Because what can happen is if you have little chunks of CA glue kind of hanging off, little tiny bits, when you go to press this part together, it'll crack your whole finish, which is going to really piss you off. And I've done that a few times. I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was like the pen press thing or the method that I was using, you know, or something. And then I realized that it was because there was chunks of CA glue kind of hanging off. And then once you press that pen part on there, it just crushes that stuff. So I'm just trying to make sure there's no more of that stuff kind of hanging off. If you want to make sure to get all of it off before you put this back on, just soak it in acetone for like 5 or 10 minutes, something like that. That'll clear off the edges. I'm just using my fingernail to make sure there's no pieces sticking off, again, because I don't want to crack my finish. Okay. Now let's reassemble and we will do our... I like to do that step before I've gone through all the rest of the polishing, because if something happens where it cracks the finish or something, I don't want to have gone through the whole polishing steps, you know, and then have it like mess up on me. That would suck. Okay, so we're going to try something different. We did 400 grit here. Let's try 600 and then just magic juice polish and see how that goes. I have a feeling it'll probably work fine, but you never know. All right, so where are we at here? We gotta get you guys back in the action. We got everything smooth with 400. We're gonna go with 600 dry. We're gonna skip wet sanding and go straight on to the magic juice. So let's just see how this goes. I do think that I was talking to Michael Harding about it, and because I was like, oh, their instructions like recommend that you go up to like 2,000 grit. And at first I was like, that seems kind of ridiculous. Like, what are all these 6 steps of polish doing? And the truth is, he's like, yeah, you could probably stop at 6. I just, to make sure that you're going to get excellent results, that's what we recommend. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, I go to like 1150 before buffing anyway, so it's pretty much doing the same thing. I'm just swapping buffing out with these magic juice things. And so if it doesn't take any more time than buffing, then, you know, and if I get better results for some reason, then I'm going to stick with plastic polish stuff. All right, so we got it up to 600. I'm going to shut off the thing so I'm not yelling at you guys. Oh, that's nice. And let's see here. How much money would I sell a pen like that? It just kind of depends. To be honest, I don't really sell a lot of pens. Most of my stuff I give away, you know, for gifts or whatever. I don't know. I mean, you could. Back in the day when I actually did sell pens, I would probably sell that for like, I don't know, it depends, somewhere between 100. Part of it depends on the kit. How much does the components of the kit cost? Because I mean, some of those things, I mean, there's kits that are $100. So in that case, you know, you better be selling it for a few hundred. I would probably sell something like this for like, I don't know, 125 minimum is probably what I would charge. All right, so this is step 1 of the magic juice polish. Let me give this one a little bit more time here. I'm not putting a lot of pressure, letting the stuff kind of work itself in. Speed it up just a hair. Okay. Step 1, done. Step 2, give it a little shake. Oh, thanks a lot, Doug. Yeah, I saw you put a link up for at least one of them. Appreciate it. Okay, so number 2. Again, you don't need to put a lot of this stuff on there. I might even be putting too much, possibly. But I like to kind of, well, watch, you don't want to like apply it when it's spinning at like 1,000 RPMs, because it'll just go flying off into your face. I learned that lesson the first time I did it. So I like to kind of apply it. And then, you know, with the lathe off, wipe it on. And then we're good to go. Step 3. Magic juice. Yeah, it's made by Stadium Pen Blanks. Michael Harding over there. Works pretty good. Pretty happy with it. For pens, this is my go-to now. I used to be big on buffing because I got really good results, and I still do. But this stuff actually, it'll bring it up to a higher sheen than buffing does. So if it looks better, and it takes, I would say it actually is faster because you don't even have to take the thing off the lathe or set anything up. You just start applying it, you know. I would actually say that it's a little bit faster than buffing, even a couple minutes faster, not that much, you know, but in the end, if it works, not too bad. I haven't done a ton of, you know, I haven't used this a ton. I haven't really been making stuff other than blanks lately, but we did a little bit of an experiment, I don't know, a few months ago, and to be honest, I really was like, okay, let's see how this goes, because I don't like any of the pastes. They don't particularly do anything better than any other method that I already use. If not, many of those things don't do anything, I don't think. Mainly because they kind of they pigeonhole you. Sometimes I'll want to switch, and then you got a bunch of oil and wax all over the piece. But anyway, I digress. I really didn't think that this magic juice was going to be that good. And I used it, and I was like, dang, this stuff works pretty good. I don't know what step we're on at this point. I think we're on 5, maybe. What do you think? 5? Wasn't really paying attention there. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff, though. I don't know, you know, depending on how you do things, though, you got to pay for, you know, these things, and it's a consumable. So I would say that's the drawback to this stuff. But, and I'm not going to use it for like large things, maybe on like stoppers, but like not for like really big projects or anything. Buffing works a lot better in that case. Yeah, my main criteria when somebody's like, oh, try this out, and I already have a way that it works, you know, it better be cheaper, faster, and easy. Like an idiot can do it easy kind of thing. That's kind of my criteria. If it doesn't really meet those things, if I got to learn how to do it, whatever. If it costs more, no way. You know, this stuff is dead easy. Just wipe it on. Anybody can do it, and it works good. Now I don't know how much. It's not super expensive. It's not like it's like thousands of dollars or some weird crazy thing like that. So don't have to worry about that. But over the long run, that's where the question would be. You got to keep buying it. But I mean, I don't know. These are 1-ounce bottles. I don't think that I'm going to run out anytime soon. I think you could turn and polish a lot of pens with this kit. Does anybody know how much this thing costs? Because Michael Harding just sent this out. No, actually, I bought it. But I didn't buy the 1-ounce bottles. He upgraded me. There's like a beginner, like a starter kit that's smaller bottles. And he said, well, if you're going to do this on the stream and like kind of share with people, then let me give you the 1-ounce bottles. So he did upgrade me, and he also gave me this little 3D printed stand thing, which I think it's pretty nice because it's got magnets on the bottom. So it's not going to, like, it'll stick to your lathe. But I don't remember how much it was, you know, offhand. But man, that is shiny. I mean, it really does a good job. Although I don't know. I'm seeing some like kind of scratch marks. I'm not sure that the 600 thing. I don't know. Probably could have sanded better somehow. I don't know if that's because I didn't do my typical wet sanding thing or what, but there are a few kind of like, looks like little scratch mark things at the top there. But overall though, it ain't perfect, but it's pretty sweet. Looking pretty good. Now, if I was going to sell this, I would refinish the whole thing because I was talking, not paying attention, all that kind of stuff. I would make sure that it was perfect. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this thing. I'm digging it. Take it off here. Kind of show you guys what it's looking like. A lot of character on the wood side of this. You can see how much gloss is going on with that, you know. Very glossy. Good resin colors too. You guys picked some awesome colors. All right, so let's assemble this guy. Let me get my pen press thing. One of these days I need to mount this thing somewhere. And then we got a giveaway to do. Who's ready for the giveaway? I am. I'm excited. And again, with the bushings, because I have CA glue on them, what I'm going to do is just drop them in my little, I have a little jar of acid. It's not really rosemary. Just a jar filled with some acetone. I think I'm going to need a little bit more acetone. And then again, I just let them sit for, you know, if I need to make another pen with the same bushings, I'll be quick about it. Otherwise, I just generally let them sit in there for, you know, whenever. It's not going to hurt them for however long I need to until I need to use them again. Or when I think about it, think of pulling them out. So I just grab them with some pliers. See, how's the best way to do this? Maybe like hold on real quick, guys. I need to redo right here. I'm gonna stick it on this real quick. I'm like wrapping the cord around this table twice. So I'm gonna come back around. I just didn't really think you guys wanted to see the shaky cam. Okay. Try to get a decent shot here. This thing going together. Okay, I think that ought to do. See what it looks like on this screen. Yeah, there we go. Where did the components go? Oh, they're there. Real quick, I'm going to stop and just check out that real quick. Sample set is 12. Oh, that's cheap. 6 ounce. I mean, 30 bucks. Okay, so it's not even expensive. I wasn't sure. I thought it might have been more. So yeah, pretty good. I don't know. If all you do is turn pens and like maybe stopper size things, if that's all you're doing right now, you don't really do bowls or anything like that. I mean, well, either way, if you do pens, like I think it's a pretty good way to go. I do like the buffing wheels though for larger things and spheres, and like I don't think I would use that paste stuff, you know, for that. Maybe, I don't know. I guess it's not that expensive, but I was just kind of thinking like, you know, you kind of have to use quite a bit on some of these larger things. All right, so let's see here. We got some parts. Where's the other half of this blank? Where did I put that? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to look at this real quick and just see if I'm wiping off. There's some polish on the ends here. Wipe that off real quick. I'm just going to kind of hold these two up and see, does it really matter which direction? I forgot to mark the inside of the tube. I was going to show you guys, and then I just started turning it. So frankly, I don't think it matters, and the grain doesn't line up at all, so I'm just going to assemble this thing however I see fit. If you needed to match, you know, if you had grain patterns going on and you needed to match that up, like after you've, you know, glued the tubes in and trimmed, barrel trimmed everything, then what I do is I'll just take the blanks and let's see here. Let me see if I can find a couple that make how many. Of course. Oh yeah, here we go. So if I was gonna, on these two, if these are different, so it's not the greatest example on the planet, but let me get my view screen here. If I needed the grain on, if these two matched and the grain, you know, I wanted it to be, when I assembled the pen, lined up, what I do is I usually put a mark on the outside when I'm, you know, for when I'm just gluing tubes in and doing different stuff. But the minute you turn one of the blanks, you know, that mark is gone. So what I'll do is I'll just open these things up. Say this is the orientation, but you want it to be still square. And then I'll put a mark on each side inside the tube. That way when I go to assemble it, I know how to line up the blanks. So hopefully that kind of made sense. But I totally, like I said, I started turning it and forgot about that. Here's another really good tip, guys. Keep your ears peeled. Keep your eyes open for this one. And it's so stupid simple, but it makes a huge, I think, a huge difference. Especially if you're selling pens. Keep your eyes peeled. So, there is nothing worse than the squeaky threads when you're, hopefully you guys that picked that up. But these pen kits like squeak a lot, you know, like every one of them. And so, you know, if you're selling a $100 pen, the first time your customer goes to replace the ink and the thing's squeaking around, they're going to be like, wow, that just isn't awesome. So I just take a little bit of paste wax, put it on the threads, and guess what? They're not squeaky at all. Oh, I'm doing it right. No squeak. And typically you don't have to add more either. So threads there on the tip part. And then I also do it on the back part here. Oh, that one's not even squeaking that much. Oh, there it is. There's a little bit of squeak. Don't need a lot of paste wax or anything, just a little bit of wax. I mean, heck, if you don't have paste wax on you, just go grab a candle. Like, I've actually done that before. Before sending a pen out and didn't realize that I forgot not to do it. Or I forgot to do this. And I've just literally wiped the threads on a candle and was good to go. All right, so let's get this guy going here. Okay. That's not supposed to happen. All right, so we got that part. And let's do this part. Get that thing out of the way. It's probably right in the way of you guys, huh? Okay, so we got that side done. I'm going to put my ink in now. I kind of forgot. Okay, so the body of this thing, man, that is a fabulous looking pen. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to toot my own horn. Toot. I need to get a light on this. It's not picking up maybe on the camera. I'm not sure. So, like I said, I don't really think that I care too much about how the orientation is on this. Actually, I think it might go kind of like that. Actually, okay, I think I actually found the orientation that I want. So what I'm going to do here is to kind of keep this lined up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to twist this onto the other. So we're going to put these two component parts together. All right. And let me see here. So this and this, I think those are the two. Hold on a minute. I had it, and now I lost it. I need to get this thing all the way down. Yeah, okay. All right, so I figured out that I want it to be like this. Once you kind of figure how it needs to go, then just get this thing started on that component and then take it apart. A lot of times I forget to take the piece off, but you really do not want to be pressing that together. What ends up happening is, because you have something screwed into the inside of this thing, it's plastic, and it ends up forcing that thing off. So make sure to take it apart, but you want to screw those two pieces together. Make sure they're nice and tight. That way you can kind of line things up. You know, as the part is, you know, line it up how it's supposed to be when it's together, and then you'll be good to go when you actually go to assemble the whole thing. Oh yeah, I think I did pretty good lining all that up. Okay, and now I'm just going to look at, where do I want this cap thing? I think I like it like this. Kind of like this little swoop going on. I don't want to cover that because I like that part up there where it's kind of zooming up. You can maybe put it here, but this is actually my favorite side of the pen. I think I'm actually going to put it just like that. And I'll get, like I said, I'll get some better light going. You can kind of see this, how this pen actually looks in a sec. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence still about this assembly tool. I like it as a disassembly tool for sure, but I still do kind of like the vertical thing. I don't know. That looks good. Okay, so I got better lighting over here, and I can get also a light. Now, one thing that I noticed is that cap thing went in extremely easy. If that's the case, then you know, or let's just say, if it's to the point, like some of these pen kits, they don't really even press fit. They should, but they don't. It's so loose that you can just push it in and out kind of thing. If that's the case, then what you're going to want to do is, oh, I hope I switched. Okay. What you're going to want to do is take a little bit of just a drip of CA glue and put it on the piece, then put it together. So if it's something that it just literally comes apart, which I don't know, it's stuck good enough. Mine is, but sometimes you can just literally pull it out. And so you just put a little bit of, just a dab, tiny bit of CA glue, maybe even two little dabs of one of the faster curing ones, like a thin kind of, and then press your part together. That's what I recommend. But man, look at this. Let's see here. Let's get some light on here. Actually, I should probably do it on the other camera, because look at that. Yep, I think I'm keeping this one. Either that, or Gretchen, my wife, might maybe hers. It may be mine for like an hour, and then hers. Yeah, I'm digging that. So what do you guys think? Not too shabby. Got it finished. Like I said, I probably could have done better on the CA finish on that one. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and I don't really see any flaws. Like, unless maybe I got it like under a microscope type thing, you know. But if you're just glancing at it, it looks pretty good. All right, so it's giveaway time. Oh, I got to close my paste wax up. You don't want that to dry out. It's giveaway time in the city. All right, so the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's see. Let me stop. Before we do this, I want to just make sure that I'm not missing any. Yeah, set it so you're pushing down on the handle, like kind of pulling down. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I don't know. I like the drill press thing. That worked pretty good. Gotta be honest. It's pretty simple. And the other thing is, it's just like the drill press table's just set up there. I don't know. It just, things kind of went together better. It felt like that thing. Okay, I don't think that Somebody asking about the stream. Yeah, I wish it said something else instead of Streamlabs, but anyway, I don't think I missed anything. All right, so the pen blanks, we got 4-pack of pen blanks open to anybody, anywhere in the world. I'm gonna go to this view. So we got one that's dye stabilized Buckeye Burl. Got some like dark stuff, but it's like a red orange. I mean, obviously you can see that, but it should. All I did was just kind of like, this is cut. I don't know if you can see yeah, you can see the surface on there, right? This was off the table saw, and then I just buffed it. So you're gonna get, this is gonna be a lot better once you put a finish over top and actually sand it and all that stuff. The wood, it's gonna be more vibrant. We got one of those. We got kind of a 50-50 here with the same colors of resin. I think there's like copper, gold, maybe, or yellow, maybe silver and purple, I think. Pretty sweet looking. But so kind of a half and half deal. We got one. This one's going to be kind of similar to the one I just turned, the same colors anyway. Piece of Buckeye. And then this one is just, it was the leftover, so just a color swirl resin blank. All right, so that's the 4-pack that we have up for grabs. Make sure to, if you didn't and you want to get in, make sure that you type into the chat !raffle, ! raffle. All right, so I'm just gonna wait a second just to make sure. Yeah, the lathe is okay. It's quicker. I understand that too. Yeah. Let's see here. So make sure to get your thing. I'm gonna wait just a second here. If anybody's interested, again, I'm gonna put a link up. Where did that pen go? Oh, there. If anybody's interested in, like, if you like, I really like this kit. It's the Junior George antique silver. For anybody that's interested, that's actually the pen kit that I use on my like everyday carry pen. I really like it. So it doesn't get any fingerprints on it. It's super durable. So if you want to look into those, where's my thing here? I'm going to put a link up real quick. You can check those out at Turner's Warehouse. Waffle. You never win anyways. Oh, come on. All right, so we did get a couple. Yeah, do it just like that. ! Raffle or waffle, whichever way you want to do it. If you type waffle, you're not going to get a ticket though. Just let you know. All right, so looks like we got a couple more people. I'm just going to wait to make sure everybody gets in. Ricky's in, nice. Good thing I mentioned that and waited. Let me go get a drink, guys. while we wait here, and then we will draw the lucky winner of the pen blanks. And I'm going to put some of the other ones up for grabs on my website. I'll have a listing for a few of those. And then the rest of them, I've been saving blanks that we make on the live stream for those mystery boxes for people. And just to let you guys know, for anybody that was here last week and is kind of wondering, like, what happened to the blanks we made? Well, I accidentally blew the brake on my saw stop, so I couldn't get these things cut up. But here they are. They're looking pretty good. I don't know if I did a video on demolding these or not. A short. That one's going to be pretty cool. And look at how crazy these little circles and stuff are. I mean, I don't know if that's probably not, that's probably just on the surface, but it just turned out interesting. This was the one that was going to be like kind of a, like the abalone kind of thing. So anyway, so one of these days when I get a new brake for my saw stop, I'll get those cut up. All right, so, oh, Paul's getting in. Nice. Okay, so we're going to have to cut it off here, guys. Dang, is it 5:40? Wow. This is a long one. Almost dinner time. All right, so I'm heading over to, oh, we got 57 entries. 57 entries in this one, guys. Yeah, I don't use my bandsaw. It just, if I did that for blanks that I sell, then I'd have to sand them and all this other stuff. The table saw is so much smoother that I'm not going to mess with it for that kind of thing. But the problem with the saw stop is if you're cutting aluminum honeycomb blanks and you forget to turn the brake thing off, it blows the brake into the thing. It wasn't an accident. It was like I didn't almost cut my hands off. It was just I cut into a blank that had metal in it. And I didn't realize that I didn't have any more brakes. So, not fun. Anyway. All right, so it looks like everybody's entered in to the raffle now. So let's go over there. I am going to close the entries. No more entries, guys. And I'm going to pick a winner. Here it is. Oh my goodness, Michael McEwen. I don't know if he's still here. Michael McEwen. Oh man, I don't think he's still here, but that's actually really fitting because he just this week volunteered. He had been noticing people were we had some vagrants in the chat putting stupid comments up there, and he's like, hey man, if you need some help moderating, I'd be happy to do it. So that's not too bad of a thing. He won the giveaway, and he's also a moderator, so that's pretty cool. Why not? Hey, there he is. He's right there. So appreciate it, man. I will get these. I probably need to contact you. I should have, well, I know I had your address, but I don't use stamps. I just closed my stamps.com account. So I lost I forgot to export all the addresses that were in there. So I'll probably get a hold of you, get your address, and get these guys in the mail to you probably this week. Probably on Friday, they'll head up there. So again, thank you for helping out with the moderating, and thanks for all you guys' support. I appreciate it. We'll probably do another giveaway soon because I meant to cut those other blanks up and have them as part of the giveaway. So we'll probably do another one for once we get those cut up and maybe toss in a couple other ones down the road. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a really long stream, but I hope you enjoyed seeing this pen come together. I'm pretty stoked about it. It's been a while since I made a pen for myself, so I'm pretty excited. But anyway, thank you to all the super chatters. Really appreciate all you guys' support. So I probably won't see you until after New Year's, I guess, right? It's the 29th. So I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's. Have a safe, happy New Year's. Get out there, do something kind of fun in the shop this weekend, hopefully. Use some of the new things that you got for, Christmas, for the holidays. Get in the shop and use those things. It's always fun using some new tools. And so, yeah, anyway, guys, I got big plans. Looking forward to 2022. 2021 was kind of a dud year for me. It was kind of a nuts year for me. So I'm actually really looking forward to 2022. Got some plans. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be buying a resin 3D printer. So we'll probably be doing some stuff with that, with some casting. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully it'll work. But we got some, next year I'm going to be bringing back videos more. I didn't do very many videos this year. So I'm looking forward to that, and I really appreciate, like I said, really appreciate all you guys' support. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you guys had a great holiday, Merry Christmas, and like I said, have a safe and happy New Year, guys. So we'll probably see you, I'll be doing a stream first week of January. It should be, unless something weird happens, you know, if I'm like laid up or something like that. Should be doing that next week on Wednesday, so 3 p.m. Pacific time. Come back. We will do probably some resin casting next time, and it should be pretty fun. So anyway, guys, have a wonderful evening and stay safe out there. I'll see you guys on the next live stream.